Puente Hills Mall, located in the City of Industry, is a major shopping center that opened in 1974. Thank you for all the comments you've made in the past. If you've clicked onto this video, then you know what today is. It's Monday, Mall Madness. Every Monday I'll be releasing a new video on a defunct or maybe not so defunct mall and its history. Make sure you stick around to the very end of the videos. I'd like to see if you, the viewer, are paying attention. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you get notified of my latest mall video, defunct store, or my Throwback Thursday videos. Leave a suggestion or a comment for a future video. Thanks. The Puente Hills Mall was open in phases over a year from February of 1974 through spring of 1975 after the completion of the Pomona Freeway a few years earlier. Plans for an eastern San Gabriel Valley shopping hub was announced in August of 1972. A fully enclosed venue would occupy a 94-acre tract located 21 miles east of Los Angeles. When it was completed, the $40 million Puente Hills Mall encompassed 2 levels and 1.8 million square feet. A 3-level, 160,000 square foot The Broadway was dedicated on February 18, 1974. J.W. Robinson's opened a 2-level, 158,000 square foot location on March 11, 1974. A 2-level, 129,000 square foot Sears was dedicated on April 17th. The fourth and final anchor, a 2-level, 150,000 square foot JCPenney, opened on April 16, 1975. Puente Hills Mall housed 125 stores and services. Charter tenants included Harris and Frank Menswear, Florsheim Shoes, Rebel Shops Menswear, The Gap, Security Pacific Bank, and Pasadena Federal Savings. There was also a Sears Auto Center, the Broadway Tire Center, Penny's Auto Center, and a Bank of America branch. The freestanding American multi-cinema Puente Mall 6 opened on December 22, 1974. This multiplex was joined by a second freestanding venue, the AMC Puente East 4, which was inaugurated in April 4, 1980. On another side note, one of the mall's original tenants was the first Foot Locker store, which still stands there today. By September of 1975, the mall reported 152 stores opened and announced plans for a construction of an adjacent 41-acre auto mall and home improvement and home furnishings retail district. The Puente Hills Mall became part of 1980s pop culture when it served as a filming location for the fictional Twin Pines Mall, later the Lone Pine Mall, in the 1985 film Back to the Future. In the film, Doc Brown uses the mall's south parking lot to stage his time travel experiments with the DeLorean time machine. The JCPenney and Robinson store featured prominently in the background. A Ross Dress for Less can be seen in the strip mall across the street. The scenes were filmed in January of 1985. Puente Hills Mall competitors included the Witwood Mall, the West Covina Fashion Plaza / Westwood West Covina, the Brea Mall, but it was the opening of the Montebello Town Center in 1988 that substantially hurt business at the Puente Hills complex, starting a long cycle of decline. In 1993, J.W. Robinson's rebranded as Robinson's May after the chain merged with May Company. In 1996, 2 anchor stores, the Broadway, at the time purchased by Macy's, and JCPenney were closed. At the time of JCPenney's departure, the mall was about 50% occupied. A $35 million renovation started, which included demolition of the vacant The Broadway. It was replaced with a new entertainment wing, anchored by the American Multi-Cinema, Puente Hills 20, and a 9-bay food court. The state-of-the-art Movieplex showed its first features on April 18, 1997. Focal points of the original mall's fountain, or center, court was the polished granite fountain and the octagonal skylight. The area had been remodeled in 1991 when a 1907 vintage carousel was installed. This was removed during the late 1990s renovation and then was replaced by Sundance, a solar spectrum apparatus. This directed a ray of sunlight into the court area where there was now a stream, waterfall, and a koi pond. JCPenney's closing in the fall of 1996 had caused the southeast wing of the mall to die. The vacant store was gutted and reconfigured as part of the Power Center wing. 2,000 square foot Burlington coat factory opened in 1998, along with a 59,000 square foot Linen and Things. The Spectrum Club Fitness Center, occupying 2 levels and 47,000 square feet, was dedicated in May of 1999. The Robinson's May store was rebranded to Macy's in September of 2006. Glimcher Realty Trust embarked on a $16 million renovation. New hardwood floors, carpeting, landscaping, and soft seating areas were installed, and the food court refurbished. The solar and water features were also removed. The renovation and remarketing proved successful, and nearly all of the mall's 155 store spaces were soon leased. In September of 2006, Borders was officially closed, while Linen and Things, Circuit City, and CompUSA all closed their locations at the mall in 2008 and 2009. In August of 2010, the Japanese sports entertainment chain Round One opened the first U.S. location of Round One Bowling and Amusement, a video game arcade and bowling alley, as a new anchor. It was the company's first overseas stores, replacing Linen and Things. Toys R Us opened in June of 2011, taking the spot previously occupied by Circuit City. Toys R Us had formerly been located at the plaza at Puente Hills on Gale Avenue in the Industry, the old site being located near the current Frank & Sons collectible show. Toys R Us closed its doors on April 15, 2018. Another anchor store, Sears, closed in September of 2018. In 2020, another anchor, Forever 21, closed in January. On January 5th, 2022, Macy's announced that their Puente Hills Mall anchor would be closing in the first financial quarter of 2022. After the store closes, Burlington and AMC would be the only remaining anchors left in the mall. So you thought this was another repeat of the same video, huh? Well, I decided to visit this mall in 2023 to check out the mall as it looks in its present state, as well as respond to some of the comments that people have made about this mall. The first thing that greeted me at this mall was a Mercedes-Benz doing donuts in the mall parking lot. What a way to start off this video, right? This is the first time that I've actually walked in this mall in over 24 years. Sure, I visited Macy's about 8 years ago, but even that store has been closed. The exterior looked a little run down, but what truly was sad was the interior of the mall. I mean, the sheer number of empty stores was apparent. I mean, even the iconic Twin Pines Mall sign on display was looking sad and reflected the image of the mall. Storefront after storefront is literally boarded up or has had their windows painted black. Some stores are being used as storage as well. As I walk around the center of the mall, I remember what some of your comments about what it was here before. The carousel, which was removed in the 1990s, part of which was for insurance reasons, according to one local store owner in the mall, as well as the stream that was at the mall, kind of like a Bass Pro Shop with koi instead of trout. I'm sure the mall maintenance had enough problems with the koi being poisoned by the coins being dropped in the water, or shoppers accidentally falling into the water because they're on their phone. Oh wait, this is before smartphones. Today, there are no more carousels or streams in the mall, just a large center courtyard that mall shoppers just lounge and take in the empty mall. In fact, the mall was pretty quiet, save for some kid blowing a whistle at the top of their lungs, something you couldn't get away with at any other mall. When I went to the Puente Hills Mall on a Saturday, as you can see here, the mall was empty. Not even the cold air condition would bring would-be shoppers here on a hot day. As I had mentioned previously, in August of 1996, a $35 million renovation had brought in a 9-bay food court. The current 9-bay food court has 2 active restaurants, with another one, Hot Dog on a Stick, closed for repairs and maintenance. The food court area was empty and the lights shut off. It was a sitting area for those tired shoppers. And speaking of Hot Dog on a Stick, at first, I thought it was an abandoned restaurant, but upon closer inspection, it was being remodeled. All of the equipment and signage was still there. Across from the food court was a boarded-up former Borders book, and next to that was the former H&M store with a note thanking customers for their years of business. After speaking with other mall store workers, the mall is not going to be closed, even though the main mall anchors have all but disappeared. In fact, according to one shopper, he goes to the mall to go to the AMC movie theater and the Collector's Outlet. In fact, this store turns out to be my favorite store in the whole mall. The owner was quite friendly and was very knowledgeable about the history of this mall. Another thing that I noticed about this mall, aside from the fact that this mall was empty of people and businesses, was that there were restaurants in the mall, but they weren't in the food court. In fact, there was a Mexican food restaurant in the center court, on your left, in yellow. There was also a Baskin-Robbins in the mall, something I had never seen before. A McDonald's had once been there too, but has since been closed, even though there was about 2 locations about a mile or so away from the mall. All of the major department stores have closed, and their entrances have now been boarded up. The mall does have a Round 1, a Burlington, and a Ross to help drive business, even though I would think Puente Hills Mall needs a bigger anchor. But I just started to lose count on how many stores were actually left in this mall, and that is pretty bad. In fact, I started to look around the mall to look at a mall directory. You remember those things, right? Here is a list of all the stores that are still at the mall. Taking one last look at the mall, and yes, I did walk the entire mall top to bottom, I was sad to see that this once great mall, a mall that I had been going to since the late 1970s, as well as the 80s and late 90s, being just an empty shell with store tenants not knowing if the mall was going to be torn down or redeveloped. I mean, even walking by an empty Hollister store with a sign reading, "Thank you for your business," is just downright sad. You know it is bad when the mall monopoly department store, Macy's, abandons the mall. Today, the mall contains approximately 1.1 million square feet of gross leasable area. At present, there are approximately 113 tenants within the Puente Hills Mall. Of these tenants, roughly 80 are retail users, including 3 banks and 2 entertainment establishments, a movie theater and a bowling alley, and 33 restaurants, including 22 inside the mall and 11 on the outer mall loop. The mall is anchored by Round 1, Burlington, Ross, Dress for Less, 24 Hour Fitness, and an AMC movie theater. Plans have been drawn up for a complete mall renovation. The plans that you see here have been in the works for years. Advertising for it has been seen around the mall on empty buildings inside, but it is uncertain when the mall owners will start with the plans. Whether it's going to start this year, next year, or even if it ever happens, it's still hard to see the Back to the Future Mall, aka the Twin Pines Mall, aka the Lone Pine Mall, or just the Puente Hills Mall look like a dead mall walking. And for all of you movie buffs out there who love the classic Back to the Future, here's a famous Robinson's building back then and what it looks like now. On a little side note, I asked about why the Toys R Us and Babies R Us are still on the sign. I was hoping that they would be making a comeback at this mall, but sadly, if you notice, the sign hasn't been updated. Apparently the mall owners do not own the sign, and Toys R Us supposedly still owns the sign, preventing the mall management from removing any old tenants' names from the sign. Congratulations, you made it this far into the video.
When I find you.
Pop quiz, hotshot.
So let's see how close you were paying attention to my video. So how many anchor stores closed in this mall? So if your answer was 8, give yourself a hand. You were paying attention. Thanks for watching. So what do you remember about this mall? Leave a comment or some more details that I may have missed, or maybe even a suggestion for a future mall video you would like to see. Don't forget to hit that like button and please subscribe to Eric C. Productions. Thanks for watching.